Welcome back to Off-Road Addiction TV. I'm your host Caleb Thompson, and today we're going to talk to you about the CST CL98 Mud King. These are the 35 11.5 16s. Now I run them here on the fridge, on the mighty GQ, and they just work really well. So I had similar tyres on this vehicle when I got it, so it was a good comparison to see how these tyres performed compared to those. Now I'll be bluntly honest and say it's a little bit hard for me to get excited about these types of tyres, particularly this type of tread pattern. I know we've seen similar patterns in the past, and there's been cheaper versions and whatnot. Now the thing I love about CST the most is they just have their compounds dialed. So we've got a good tread pattern compared to some of the other designs that are out there, but we also have a very solid sidewall. Now that is often lacking in the cheaper tyres. So my personal thoughts on these is they just work. And I sat there watching them work because we've run these on a couple of other rigs, and I was trying to figure out how they worked so well. The only thing I could put it down to is the compound. CST just have the compound sorted. They just flat out work. And these tyres I was very impressed with, and a couple of the other guys that ran them also said the same thing, and they had similar tyres as well. They came to the conclusion that these things just hooked up and worked better. Now what I like about it is they've got these nice aggressive sidewall profiles here, and these sort of side biters help with keeping puncture resistance down, but they also give you that little bit of extra traction there when you're wiggling your wheels back and forth in the ruts. The one thing that impressed me most about these tyres is we went straight from off-roading down a couple of gravel roads to shake all of the mud loose. We went for a drive into town and they were smooth, and I was absolutely blown away with how smooth they are on the road. And like I say, it's the compound. The compound just flat out works in all scenarios. Now I've driven these around on the road a little bit, maybe done 1,000 kilometers on them on the road, and the wear is minimal. There's very minimal wear on it. They handle good. You have to take that with a grain of salt, as in when I say they handle good for what they are. You have to realize that this is an extreme mud tire, and it's not going to offer you the same amount of traction on the road as an all-terrain or a mud terrain would. But in saying that, if you know what type of tire you got on and you're driving to suit, they handle very well. They were very well balanced, and I have not balanced these at all. They were smooth down the road. Noisy, yes, you're going to get that with an extreme mud tire on asphalt. If you're wanting a quiet tire, generally you're going to have to look at an MT, not an extreme MT. As we know, there's a lot of styles like this, but I must say value for money and quality is finally here. I'm always excited to see when CST steps up with a new design, just purely because I know they put the R&D into making sure you have a tire that performs, it looks good, and it lasts well. There's nothing worse than being out in the trails and something goes wrong, you split a sidewall or you get a puncture. Sometimes it's inevitable, but by putting the best tire you can on, you're going to reduce all of that risk when you're out wheeling. So I gotta say, all in all, this tire performs very, very well. In our conditions here in New Zealand, it's a lot of slippery clay, dirt, sand, and then our roads are pretty much an off-road track here as well. So I've got to say, as an all-round tyre, if you wanted something to put on your rig that isn't driven all the time, you just want to drive it to and from the tracks here and there, this is going to be a very good choice if you're a fan of this style of tyre. And I know there's many people out there that are a fan of this style of tyre and don't want to change up, and that's absolutely fine. Now we have a quality offering from CST to take that slack and give you the performance you're expecting out of your tyres. So in this range of CL98 Mud Kings, you've got the 35 11.5 16, this one here. They've got a 33 10.5 15, and they've got a 31 10.5 17. How cool would that be to bang on your new Jimny and go wheeling in some places that you couldn't get access to before? That's kind of cool that they're offering that in a unique size to suit these newer vehicles, and I'm excited to see some people running them. They are a very good option if you want a good tyre that's going to get you the places that you need to go. That's it for this tyre review. I hope you enjoyed the info we gave you on the CL98 Mud King from CST. I hope we've covered all of your questions. If not, leave them in the comments below and we'll get back to you with some answers.